So this is a slide that talks a little bit more about how we can use SIP for 911 capability. In this particular scenario, we have a Portland-based corporate office with an IP phone system. We sell ShoreTel. That's why we like to show our fantastic appliance-based, non-spinning media, single system image ShoreTel phone system. There's a plug for ShoreTel. And we have our local IP phones, whether SIP or proprietary IP phones, on the local area network of the Portland office. We show that we can also plug in public switch telephone network, dial tone, analog lines, PRI, so on and so forth. But now we also are integrating an ITSP or SIP trunks in the mix. A fantastic little drawing tool here. We're delivering SIP trunks over whatever transport we need. Here we have a remote salesperson in Boise. And because we have SIP trunks, we can port a 208 area code or provision a 208 Boise number to be, when a local customer dials that number, it'll come down the SIP trunks in Portland. So when the salesperson's local Boise customer calls him or her, it will ring his or her IP phone sitting at his house. Fantastic, a local presence. Well, what about on the outbound? Same thing. We can provision it so when this remote Boise phone makes an outbound call, we can outpulse the 208 number, again showing that local Boise presence. And if you've ever done business in Boise, you'll know you definitely want that local presence. Let's talk about how this also solves 911 issues. When we set up this particular service, we have the ability to tell the SIP provider anytime that 208 area code is outpulsed during a 911 call, emergency personnel need to respond to this person's house. Fantastic solution. We have a customer, RMLS. They have locations all over Oregon. Most of their offices are small, 1 to 2 phones. And traditionally, they had just have analog phones and an answering machine. Their remote staff work maybe 3 days a week. So when, say, the local RMLS Hood River office, it's a Tuesday and nobody's working, and a local RMLS customer or a real estate agent calls that office on a Tuesday, no one's there. They go to an answering machine. So when we're looking at deploying the ShoreTel voice over IP system, they wanted to put 1 or 2 phones out at all these small offices, but they didn't want to have to put an actual appliance. It didn't make sense to pay that much money to put an appliance out there to terminate local analog lines. So, just like this slide shows, and I'm going to try and delete all my drawings to clean this up. Just like this slide shows, we ported all of their local Hood River, Hermiston, Florence numbers over to SIP trunks that they delivered over a 100 meg connection at the PITIC, where all of their servers are co-located. And when someone dials that local, we'll say this is in our example, Hood River number, it rings that local Hood River phone. If they're not there, it call forwards back to their customer service center in Vancouver. So now their customers are getting answered, their calls are getting answered all the time. And now they don't have to purchase the costly voice over IP equipment. And we get the outbound 911 that works, and we get the local presence on the outbound calls. And the best part about this situation, when the local RMLS employee makes a local call into Hood River, it's a local call. Although the SIP trunk or the call is leaving SIP trunks out of Portland, because they're outpulsing the local area code, it's a local call.